After graduating in 1985, I joined the U.S. Navy. After the training camp, my first service station was the Naval Facility Coos Head, Oregon. I struggled with activities during boot camp that required swimming. But here I was willing with my shipmates to risk my life with a life jacket and a small inflatable kayak on the Rogue River. Though I had fear of deep water, it was part of my training, so I had no option except to do it. As I listened to the instructions of the guides, the threatening premonition gnawed at me. All but two of the Rogue River's rapids fell into Class I-2 and II trouble. The more challenging sections were Rainy Falls, which fell into Class V, and Blossom Bar, which was Class IV. When I started paddling towards Blossom Bar, I knew my fear wasn't misplaced. Suddenly, my kayak slammed into the rocks and I fell into the cold rapids. Wedged between rocks and the cold water, I flapped my arms before being sucked deep into a gray-green abyss. I believed in God, but I didn't feel that He cared much about me. I desperately tried to find the surface of the water. I was scared. Death was approaching me every second. My breath was falling short. I closed my eyes and stopped struggling. I was no longer breathing. I was dead. Suddenly, the darkness around me gave way to bright light. The cold and pain ceased. As I zoomed horizontally, I was in a narrow tunnel. I felt an unconditional love enveloping me. I felt peace like never before. As I exited the tunnel, I entered a room full of pure white clouds. It was beautiful beyond words. Before I hovered three beings, each a shimmering, translucent crystal, 6 to 7 feet tall. I was a bit scared of their presence. I had never seen or listened to anything similar to them. As if sensing my distress, the beings turned into familiar biblical angels. Light and love shone from her dazzling eyes. For the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged here. I understood that they were angels. No other being can be so beautiful and warm. One of them said to me, "You have arrived here too early. You have to go back and finish your work in life." The other one said, "Wait, since you are here now, we should show you some things." I became curious to know what they wanted to show me. The angels produced a book from which snapshots of my life quickly passed. I have shown everything since I was born. All my good and bad moments. All my good and bad deeds. Then I saw my future. There was a man whose face I couldn't see and 2 beautiful children. The angel on the left said, "I am Yeshua. I have been with you from the beginning and will be with you for eternity. You have to go back. You have to be down there for them." But all I was saying was that I didn't want to go back. I was so happy there. I felt that being there was much better than living this chaotic life on earth. I felt like in that realm better than this worldly life. He took my hand and we both floated horizontally upwards. Above us, a huge ball of warm light shone on everything. It made me feel loved and known by God. I longed to be close to Him. Yashua led me to a huge waterfall where I felt the presence of loved ones who had passed away. I saw a huge tree whose leaves turned into living, iridescent birds. I saw a lake that was so transparent that I could see people I loved on earth. I was amazed that I could see them, but I felt that the lake was a boundary between the heavenly and earthly realms. Yashua said to me that I can't cross the barrier. I pleaded to him to please let me stay there. He said that when it was time, He'll get me back. He held me by my shoulders and pushed me back. I fell at the speed of light, and my spirit pushed back in my body. His thrust freed me from the crevice that held me to the surface where I was pulled out of the water. The memory of what had just happened to me disappeared. I didn't know what happened to me and remained unconscious for hours. A few days after the accident, I got bronchitis and the doctor put me on bed rest. I spent so many days in turmoil. On those nights, the dreams began. Dreams that show me a tunnel. 3 triangular prisms became angels, and one of them whispered, "I have been with you from the beginning." Over time, more and more images appeared. I saw a book with pictures from my life, a faceless picture of the man that I would marry in my future, 2 beautiful children, and an angel who told me to go back to life. All this went through my head in series. So after spending 2 years at Coos Head, I was transferred to a U.S. Navy facility in Wales. There I met a man named Phil. We became good friends and things between us were quite cordial. One evening, he asked me about the strangest thing that had ever happened to me, and I told him about the kayak incident, about the dreams I experienced afterward. Although I could not see the face of the man in the future book in my dreams, I had the feeling that he was with me at that moment. Phil and I got married in October 1988, and I believe he is the same man that was shown to me in my future by angels. 9 years after my rafting mishap, I surfed the internet and typed visions of near-drowning experiences. The results described exactly what I encountered and gave it the name of near-death experiences. I died that day. I had an NDE to prove it. Everything I saw in my dreams was actually experienced by me. God did this for me. He really loves me very much. Just when I was sure that God didn't care about me, He showed me how much He loves me. I began to seek God and longed to re-experience the closeness to Him that enveloped me in my NDE. 36 years have passed since I witnessed this incident. Phil and I have 2 children, just like the angels showed me. I am no longer afraid of death. I have experienced it eye to eye, and it changed my life for the better. I became more grateful and humble. For many years, I have been working in hospice care. Because of my near-death experience, I could assure my patients that something beautiful was waiting for them on the other side. This life is limited, but life after death is limitless. I always tell people to never think that God has forgotten them. He never did, and He never can. He created you and your life. He planned every event to make you stronger. All the trials are just a test from Him, and you need to have faith to encounter them.